Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm sure many of you are thinking about the same thing. AI, is it coming for programmers? I mean, with these AI tools like ChatGPT just exploding and all this code generation stuff, it's got to be on everyone's mind, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's a huge topic right now. The tech world's changing so fast, and it's easy to wonder if programming is going to be, well, obsolete.
Right, like will we even need programmers in 5 or 10 years? That's the big question we're tackling today, right?
Exactly. And the answer is a lot more nuanced than you might think.
Okay, so let's get right into it. Will AI replace programmers? What's your take?
Well, it's not a simple yes or no. AI is powerful, evolving fast, but AI and humans, we have different strengths.
Okay, so what are you saying?
Think of it this way. AI is amazing at things that are, repetitive rule based, like generating that boilerplate code everyone hates, or finding those sneaky bugs in code.
So, like a superpowered assistant that can handle all the boring stuff.
Precisely. Imagine you could spend more time on the really interesting stuff, like designing elegant solutions, creative architectures, really understanding the human needs behind the software.
That actually sounds kind of awesome. Less grunt work, more big picture thinking.
Exactly.
But are there any areas where AI is already making a real difference, like right now?
Oh, absolutely. We're seeing companies using AI in amazing ways to improve their software. For instance, AI can analyze tons of data to find performance bottlenecks in real time. That means fewer crashes, better user experience,
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
and it can even predict website traffic surges, like Black Friday or something. Companies can scale their resources ahead of time to make sure everything runs smoothly.
So it's not just writing code, it's helping us write better, more efficient code. Sounds like a win-win.
It can be, but we have to be realistic about the challenges too. One concern is that, relying too much on AI generated code could weaken our basic programming skills.
Like, if we don't write code ourselves, will we forget how to do it?
Right, like if you use a calculator all the time, you might forget how to do basic math. That strong foundation in programming is still crucial, even with AI tools.
You're making me think about those old calculator watches from back in the day. I could never do math without mine. So it sounds like the key is finding the right balance between using AI and keeping our own skills sharp, right?
Exactly. And that balance, it might shift over time as AI gets even better. It's important to remember that AI, at its core, is a tool. It's only as good as the data it's trained on, the instructions it gets.
Those human oversight is still essential. We can't just let AI run wild.
Right. AI can make mistakes, and it can be biased, depending on the data it's trained on. Human judgment, critical thinking, ethical considerations, these are all essential when we're developing software, especially software that affects people's lives.
I hadn't thought about that. So even if AI could write perfect code, there are still ethical issues and potential biases that we as humans need to think about.
Absolutely. That human touch goes beyond just ethics, too. It's about understanding the nuances of what people need and want, being able to anticipate problems, and create solutions that make life better.
So AI is great at optimizing code and stuff, but it's those uniquely human skills, empathy, creativity, critical thinking, those are the things that'll be even more important in the future, right?
I think so. It's not about AI versus humans. It's about finding ways for AI and humans to work together, each playing to their strengths.
That makes a lot of sense. I think everyone listening is probably wondering, though, with all this talk about AI, what skills are programmers going to need in the future? What should we be learning?
Well, the landscape is shifting. While traditional coding skills are still important, there's this growing need for programmers who can understand and work with AI systems.
So it's less about being a coding expert and more about understanding how to use AI as a tool.
Precisely. There's this rising demand for what some call expert generalists, programmers, who understand a bunch of different technologies and can adapt quickly to new tools and, well, new ways of thinking.
So programmers need to become even more versatile, more adaptable.
Absolutely.
No.
It's not enough to just know one programming language or framework anymore. Learning quickly, thinking critically, solving problems creatively, those skills are going to be essential.
So to cut to the chase, will AI eventually replace programmers entirely? Is that the future we're headed toward?
That's the big question, isn't it? And it's one that has everyone talking. My take is that while AI will definitely automate a lot of programming, it's unlikely to completely replace human programmers, at least not anytime soon. There are just too many things in software development that need human intuition, creativity, and that understanding of complex human needs.
So even with all these advancements, there's always going to be a need for that human element, that human touch in software.
I think so. I mean, software is created to solve human problems, to improve people's lives. And who understands those problems better than, well, other humans?
That's true. We talk about AI analyzing data and optimizing code, but can it really grasp what users need and want the same way a human developer can?
That's the key point. AI can learn from data, see patterns, but replicating that empathy, that understanding that comes from human experience, that's a whole other ballgame.
So even if AI could write code perfectly, it might miss that human touch, what makes software user-friendly and, actually useful.
Exactly. And don't forget about the creative side of things. AI can generate variations of existing ideas, but real innovation, those aha moments, those are hard to replicate with algorithms.
Like the difference between following a recipe and inventing a whole new dish. AI is great at following instructions, but it's those unexpected combinations, those leaps of imagination that lead to breakthroughs.
Great analogy. It highlights another important point. Thinking outside the box, challenging assumptions, coming up with truly new solutions, those are still very much human skills.
So even with AI doing more of the technical work, it's those human skills, creativity, critical thinking, empathy, those are going to be even more valuable in the future.
Absolutely, and I think those skills will be in high demand as things evolve.
It sounds like the future of programming isn't about being replaced by AI, but about figuring out how to work with it, understanding what it's good at, what its limitations are, and using it to make ourselves better.
Right, exactly. It's collaborative, not competitive. And in that collaboration, there's huge potential for innovation and progress.
Okay, so to recap, AI is changing software development. It can
Yeah.
automate, optimize, even help us catch problems early. But it's not replacing us. It's a powerful tool that, used correctly, can help us create even more innovative, more impactful software.
I think that's a great summary. And as AI keeps evolving, we'll see even more exciting possibilities.
Definitely an exciting time to be a programmer. Now, before we wrap up, here's a question for our listeners to think about. If AI can handle more of those technical tasks, what amazing software could we, as humans, create with all that freed up time and energy? What problems could we solve if we weren't stuck in the weeds of coding all the time?
That's a great question. It makes you realize how much potential there is for human ingenuity when we have the right tools.
Absolutely. And speaking of ingenuity, there's this quote I came across that really stuck with me Sundar Pichai, the CEO of Google, said that AI has the potential to lower the barriers to programming, making it more accessible and, well, more creative. What are your thoughts on that?
It's an interesting idea, and I think there's something to it. If AI can handle some of the more technical, repetitive stuff, it could open up programming to a lot more people.
So it's not just about making programmers more efficient, it's about letting more people become programmers in the first place.
Exactly. Imagine anyone with a great idea for an app or a website could make it happen, even without years of coding experience. AI could be that bridge between creativity and making it real.
That's a pretty amazing thought. But it also raises some new questions, like if AI makes programming more accessible, will that mean even more competition for programmers? Or will it lead to totally new jobs and opportunities we haven't even thought of yet?
Those are great questions, and honestly, we don't know all the answers yet. It's possible that as AI handles more of the routine stuff, the demand for those really specialized programmers, the ones who can build and maintain complex AI systems, that demand might go up. But at the same time, there might be this huge need for people who can connect technology with human needs, people who can take those creative ideas and turn them into AI-powered solutions.
It feels like we're standing at the edge of something brand new. We don't know exactly what it'll look like, but it's full of potential, and that's what makes this such an exciting time to be in the tech world.
Absolutely. The key takeaway is, don't be scared of the unknown. Embrace the changes. Stay curious. Keep learning and be ready to adapt. The future of programming is constantly changing, but one thing's for sure, it'll be shaped by those who are willing to embrace the possibilities and push the boundaries of what's possible.
That's a great message to end on. Now, for all our listeners out there, I have one final thought. If AI can take care of more of those technical tasks, what groundbreaking software could we, as humans, create with all that freed up time and energy? What world-changing problems could we tackle if we weren't bogged down by the nitty-gritty of coding?
That's a fantastic question. It really highlights the potential for human ingenuity when we're not limited by purely technical constraints. If AI can handle the more routine aspects of programming, it allows us to focus on the bigger picture, the human-centered design, the kind of software that truly pushes boundaries. It really opens up the possibilities, doesn't it?
It does, and it makes you wonder what amazing things are we going to see in the next 5-10 years.
Oh, who knows? But I can't wait to find out.
Me too. But hey, before we get too carried away dreaming about the future, let's bring it back down to earth for a minute. Even with all this incredible AI potential, we can't forget the human side of things, can we?
You're absolutely right. Ethics, responsibility, those things are more important than ever.
Exactly. So as we move forward, let's make sure we're using AI to build a better world for everyone, not just a select few.
Couldn't agree more. Technology is a tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or, well, not so good. It's up to us to make the right choices.
Well said. Now, for all our listeners out there, I have a musical recommendation that fits perfectly with our conversation today. Have you ever heard of the song All Ones and Zeros by the Early Years?
I have, actually. Great song.
It really captures the feeling of this digital age, the possibilities and the challenges.
And it's a reminder that even in a tech-driven world, human creativity and expression are still at the heart of it all.
Absolutely. And on that note, we'll wrap things up. Thanks for joining us, everyone,